Good afternoon, Zambia. Good afternoon, Africa. I'm actually responding to Seer. I know Prophet Seer, whether, I don't know, he calls himself a spiritual, whatever is a spiritualist or prophet or political advisor, I don't know. But what I know is that he is a false prophet. Because when he says that he foretold the death of Edongu plainly and clear, accurately. What is accurate? What is accurate? Is my question to him. And President Chile that follows and believes in his prophecies. What is accurate? God revealed this to me and I wrote it in 2012, a letter to Christian Kaseva that I have in my possession, and that is there also on Facebook. In 2015, when Edongu collapsed, I referred to the same prophecy of receiving a cigarette from Michael Sata that led him to smoke and he died. And it was written on the Daily Sun in South Africa. When Edongu left for South Africa for medication, actually the plan B that he says that he prophesies about Edongu as he went in a shit bed. I'm just from watching what his response on this video, which perhaps you can see him. Okay, this plan B, what he's talking about, it's something that I'll say that plan B is for yesterday. Plan B was when Edongu was rejected to stand, and when Edongu left Zambia, went to South Africa for medical attention, there came plan B, what we call yesterday, or within the sickness of Edongu. Then someone says that I saw him entering into the blanket. It's the end of plan B, so it is a parable. What parable is that? Seer must admit that he's not a prophet, he's a fortune teller. Seer must admit that God has never spoken to him. Even what he's talking about Tasira Lungu, there is no prophecy on Tasira Lungu. It's just imaginations and the political analysis to say perhaps PF will pick Tasira Lungu as a president to oppose Hakainde Chilema because of the influence that surrounds Edongu. There's no prophecy there. Let him not mislead people. Let him not mislead Zambians. He says there are no prophets in Zambia. Who told him that there are no prophets in Zambia? Who appointed him as a prophet in Zambia? What prophecy does he have for Zambia? He has no prophecy apart from being a fortune teller. I want to say that even in the Bible times, Nebuchadnezzar was surrounded by sorcerers like Seer, by witch finders like Seer, those who believe in Muti or African medicine, to claim that I control everything, I change what I change. The reason why he says he has power to change the donor of power is because he knows to say Tasira Lungu may not stand and may not win and may not, so that he claims that, no, me, I changed because it's me who changes. It's HH who's going to remain in power. Let him not play with God. Even the prophets of HH is claiming that he saw HH coming in power. When did he saw HH coming in power? He never saw HH coming in power. I saw HH, let me say the UPND, in 1997, 1999, 2001. I was with Anderson Mazoka, and I told Anderson Mazoka to say this UPND will come into power under the influence of the Pope. and in partnership with the Pope for accomplishing the Pope's agenda. So when we look in summary, I would say that when you look in summary, whatever Seer 1 is claiming is the interference in the prophecies which are already reviewed, are already written. What is prophecy? Prophecy talks of something that has never been written in history, never mentioned by anyone. Then you come up and say that God has revealed to me that HH shall be the president in 2026 or in 2021. But me, I've been writing on my Facebook about waiting for the prophecies of HH to be president. Then Seer 1, where was he in 1990? How old was Seer 1 in 1990 when I saw those prophecies? How old was he in 1997? Where was his ministry in 2012? Did he talk about Hakainde Chilema in 2012? So I want to say to the Zambians and to President Hakainde Chilema, to say when I wrote this book, to say exposing dark teaching, I wrote it in order to make sure that everything that I say, it is recorded. So it is up to Hakainde Chilema to continue listening to HH. It's up to Hakainde Chilema to continue to listening to Seer 1 as a prophet. Then you should know that you are misled. You should know that you are captured into falsehood. It's up to Zambians, those who are listening to to Seer 1, thinking that he's a prophet. I've come to expose him that he's not a prophet. Me, I'm not a prophet. I'm a messenger. I speak what God has given me, what God has revealed to me. I don't prophesize every situation to prove that I'm a prophet. No. The point which is there is when true prophets like Daniel are in the wilderness, in the farms, in the bush, being threatened because of telling the truth, the false prophets, they maneuver around their prophecies to entice the king as peacemakers. According to Seer 1, he doesn't see any danger in the life of Hakainde Chilema. But I've revealed to Hakainde Chilema before he became president to say, I saw that your road is rough and your building at the end was not complete. It needs Jesus to complete it. And recently I hear on his press briefing talking about to say, my house was being destroyed by Lungu and it is not yet built until today. Thank God that that information that he gave, it gives me the understanding of the same vision that I had, because I saw on the back, on the entrance from the kitchen side, the building was not plastered and it was not completely covered with cement. But now I want to say this, my appeal. Jeremiah and Hananiah, they were fighting. Jeremiah said, Israel shall go to serve as slaves in Babylon. Hananiah says, no, you are lying, Jeremiah. God spoke to me. There's nothing that will happen. So this is what I wrote in the what? In the third volume. To those who have it, I wrote it to say there is going to be a fight between false prophets and the true prophets. Elijah was faced with more than 450 prophets opposing what Elijah was saying, 3.5 years, famine. The false prophets continued surrounding the king Ahab and the wife, giving them surety of everything is well, until the prophet's word came to pass of Elijah. That's when they went to Mount Carmel. I want to tell you to say again, Micaiah the prophet, when he was called by King Ahab, and Jehoshaphat, after Jehoshaphat asked to say, is there another prophet? King Ahab says, I hate him. Who is that one? He says, Micaiah. Then Jehoshaphat said, can you call him? And when Jehoshaphat came and says, I saw the sheep scattered without a shepherd. Then King Ahab says to King Jehoshaphat, I told you that I hate this prophet. Did Ahab survive when he went to war? To war? He never survived. A stray spear, arrow, came and hit him as he was hiding himself in an oscat. Hagainde Chilema, if you are listening, you cannot hide under the promises of Seer 1. You cannot hide. Open your eyes, listen to the voice, because messengers of God, they find themselves hiding. I've talked about Elijah. I've talked about Micaiah. Jeremiah was even thrown in the well, deep well, because of telling the kings the truth. Isaiah was cut into pieces because of telling the truth. I want to say that regardless of whatever these other prophets may say, but I want to tell you to say, there's no peace in your going. There's no peace in your going. I'm not fighting to be recognized, but it is my duty to warn Zambians and President Hakainde Hichilema to say, don't listen to prophets that do not recognize the 10 Commandments of God. It is the test of truth. May God bless you.